Hello, hello. We are back. So good to be with you today and with Carrie Roldan, your business BFF. Hi, Carrie.
Hey,
I'm
Rachel.
I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy. And today, because of Dale, one of our best and brightest, we're going to talk about confidence. And I know this is a huge topic, but I have some notes. We're going to talk about our stories, when we felt least confident, most confident, how to feel confident. Um, it's going to be a good one. So chime in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Hello, Guillaume. We're so glad you're here. And yeah, confidence, big topic. Carrie, anything?
Well, yeah. So I will just say that Rachel and I have both experienced, even today, we have both experienced it's a good thing I'm confident kind of moments. So one, the way that I am currently presenting is I am a little sweaty. I am in my workout gear. I was hopeful that I was going to shower before today. And that didn't happen. And I was remembering a time when I never would have come on camera or live on YouTube looking like this, right? I just never would have done that. But I think we'll be talking about where confidence comes from. And back then I considered myself a confident person, but today I can proudly show up in all of my sweaty imperfection and still have a ton of grace with myself and still feel really good being here talking to you. And I know, Rachel, you had a little oops situation that maybe you want to talk about.
Yeah, so just this morning, I was writing the email to send out today to everyone, inviting them to this. And I love the email, but I forgot to change the subject line. And what I do in my Simplero system is I duplicate the last live stream email. So the formatting is there, plug in my new words, but I forgot to change the subject. So people are opening an email today that says something about our website. So you know what though? That would have sent me into the fetal position 10 years ago. And I've had moments like that where I sent a duplicate message. It was probably about 9-10 years ago. And I felt, and this was to maybe 100 people and not thousands. And I really was upset about it. I cried. I was on my floor. And then I heard my blessed angel friends say, this is okay. You don't have to worry about this. This is not a big deal in the most loving way possible. And the fact that I had done it when I was small meant that it was a learning experience. Nothing went wrong. Nothing happened. And I do remember sending a reply oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. But you know what? Now I know nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if anything, and this is one of the first things I wrote down in my notes, it's just an interrupter. Maybe people will say, oh, wait, didn't I already get this email? And they'll open it again. Spinning things in your favor can help you gain more confidence. There's really no right way to do anything. So when you quote unquote make a mistake, that's okay. And in fact, it could have benefits. And if you spin the circumstance into your favor as having a benefit, then that's just a way of soothing yourself off the cliff and getting back into the zone where you're confident. So, number one, we all make mistakes. Everything happens. Things don't go to plan. We don't get to shower, but the inherent worth of our being doesn't change because of those things. And I think that's where we're going to head in this conversation. I can tell from the way Carrie's nodding. So what do you have to say about that, Carrie? Where do you think confidence comes from?
So I knew we were going to talk about this, and I was like, oh, cool topic. Yeah, I want to talk about it. But now, shockingly, guys, you guys are going to watch me process. So I'm sure I will get to the answer to your question where I think confidence comes from, but I don't know right now. Like, I think I know how to cultivate it. I mean, it comes from inherent worthiness, I suppose. But I'll tell you my story with confidence is that my whole life, I have been both confident and insecure. So, um, like, I don't know. Is this Rachel? Did you feel this way? Like, I know your high school experiences were really different than mine. So maybe pre high school, but like, I always felt confident in that I knew I was smart. I knew I was capable. But that also came with like a ton of anxiety and insecurity. Like, I know I can pull this off. And oh man, I got to make sure that I keep up this level of excellence, like this outward appearance of having it all together. Oh, which is going to lead us down the rabbit hole of our personality types. I can already feel it. But like, is this a me thing or is this a universal thing? This feeling like I am confident and also like deeply insecure.
I think I had it for different reasons, but yes, I've always like you. Well, let's just say yes, we're both INFJ, which like we present very confidently, cool as a cucumber, but like um I had a very strong sense of who I was from the very beginning. And that does come off as confidence. Things are pretty easy for me. I'm pretty smart. I can like figure anything out pretty much that I'm interested in figuring out. That is history. Don't ask me a damn thing. Um, but I had lots of friends always. I was always like the popular nerd, like the popular outsider, but I wouldn't expect it. Like my best friend in middle school was having a birthday party, and I was very shocked that she invited me. That was my dichotomy. Like I was like, I'm a freak with green hair. Why are you inviting me to your birthday party? But we were best friends and we'd sleep over each other's houses all the time. So like I had this weird disconnect of confidence and knowing myself, but also like, why would anyone like me kind of thing.
Okay, that I am relating to that, like knowing myself and also being feeling like a little bit of an outsider. And interestingly enough, it was the knowing myself that made me an outsider. It was like I didn't understand. I still feel this way. This is my like the freakiness of me. Like I still feel like I'm a little weird in that like I never understood peer pressure ever. Like that didn't make any sense to me. Like why it would be hard to like know if you're a yes, like how you could be convinced to do something that you didn't want to do. Like I I was just like so I was weird in that way. Like I was a hard no to things that lots of high school kids are doing. And even now, like I am still a hard no to lots of things. Like I think I've shared this. Like I love my friends so much, but I'm never going to want to go to a craft night. I'm never going to want to go to a girls' night out. I never want to go to a wine bar. Like, and on the one hand, that is like a little bit isolating to now we're not talking about confidence, but bear with me here. It's a little bit like self-isolating, but on the other hand, it's like I know myself and I know like, oh, I'm just a no to that. And I'm cool with being a no to that. So I am very much with you in that, like just knowing yourself, knowing what matters to you and knowing what doesn't matter to you. And I do think that those things, one, I think that is confidence. And I think that those things like that's what helps us present confidently. And because I think it is inherent in the human condition to feel like a little bit of an outsider. I think, oh good, Heather, I'm going to read your comment in a sec, but I see that you get it. And I think that it is that outsiderness that when you really know yourself, you kind of identify as weird. Isn't that interesting? So, anyways, to answer your question, confidence comes from knowing yourself. Got there.
Yeah. And I think so to kind of go deeper into this outsider thing, because I think a lot of people who are attracted to me and you feel that way, Heather, we see you. It does come from knowing yourself, but it also comes from comparison. And no, not confidence comes from comparison. This idea of knowing yourself and feeling like an outsider. Like, to feel like an outsider, you need to judge the rest of the world as not like you. And one of my notes here is confidence comes from focusing inward and knowing yourself, but appreciating that, appreciating what you find there, not just knowing you're an outsider. It's appreciating yourself, which puts you in a whole different vibration than outsider. When I really felt like an outsider, I was also very insecure. I knew who I was and I felt confident in that. But when it came to the rest of the world, I was like, nobody's going to want what I have to offer. And who am I to do this? And like, people won't take me seriously. And I had a lot of inner stories that didn't work for me. But when I started appreciating my differences and appreciating who I was, then I was appreciating what I saw in everybody else too. And this happens a lot in a spiritual journey where people feel like, oh, I'm awake now, I get it. And then they see the whole rest of the world as being asleep and like, idiots. I see this all the time. And that's just not the case, right? It's just that you are becoming more aware of your differences. And when you can then learn to appreciate you appreciate them, and you see there's a whole lot more cohesion than ever before. Like, one of these defining moments for me was when my intuitive art book came out in 2017. And I sent it everywhere for review, like any good publisher would. And I was shocked when the Library Journal picked it up and reviewed it, because you have like a 0.5% chance or something of that happening, especially from an indie press. And the fact that it was in that publication, it got ordered by libraries all over the world, English speaking world. I was like, oh, this is mainstream. Like, what have I been telling myself in my head? Thank you, Cupcake Unicorn. I've been giving myself a story that I'm too different for the world, but the world is embracing what I'm doing. So why am I bothering with that? Right. So it's like, go to that appreciation. Yes, you are unique. Everyone's unique, which is why comparison is not worthy of your time. Like, just assume that there's a friendly universe out there, as Einstein would ask you, do you believe that? Because it's there for you. It's all your creation. So we need to create the world that we want to live in, because that's an option.
Amen. Yes, I'm sure you saw me. I always wonder what you guys think, like, watching this, because I'm like seeing me like, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And it's that appreciating yourself. That's how you cultivate worthiness, right? So, I think we started saying confidence comes from just a sense of inherent worthiness. And I think that, like, if I think about confidence, for me, has also come with aging, and experience and momentum. Like, all of these things have experience, I think, is major in that, like, having the experience of something working once, then you feel more confident the second time or the third time. The interesting thing in that is what we feel confident about. Like, even as I'm saying this, like, there's lots of you who may be watching this feeling confident that things are not going to work out. So I don't know if that's the kind of confidence that Dale was talking about when she said, to talk about this topic, but right, I think that is sort of important to, like, ooh, what are you feeling really confident about? That's happening. That's totally happening. Whatever you're feeling confident about is happening. So where do you want to choose to put your confidence? And so I think what we're talking about is a positive outlook, a positive self-expression. Yeah, I'm going to pause for just a sec and see what Guillaume has to say.
Yeah, this is a great question, Guillaume. What is the best way to gain confidence? I've always had a lack of confidence throughout my whole life. And what Dale was asking, I believe in her email, was like the same thing. How do you cultivate it? How do you keep it? How do you nurture your confidence? So, I mean, appreciating yourself is an easy way to start. What do you enjoy about yourself? What do you love about yourself? What are you happy you were born with? Like, what part of you are you enjoying in this life? How do you uniquely enjoy this life? One of the things I love about myself is that whether I'm hiking, walking, running, like there's something on my path that I will stop and admire. Yesterday, there were a lot of wildflowers on the trail. There was a beautiful view. There was the sound of a bird. Like, I love that about myself, that I can enjoy those little tiny things that most people would just run past or be too in their head to notice. So little things like that. Who are you? Right? This goes back to knowing yourself. Like, what is it that you enjoy? How do you enjoy this world? Think about those things often and remind yourself, like, you are here as a singular being right now. You get this really cool experience of that, where when we're non-physical, we're a lot less unique. We don't care that we're not unique in that moment, but this is a really finite moment that we have here to appreciate and enjoy. um, and the other thing is, like, why not? Why not be confident? Why not? Like, why choose not to feel confident? Isn't it your right to feel confident? Can't you just decide, like, I'm enough? I'm enough to feel confident. Confident is feeling relaxed in myself. It's feeling capable of handling what can come up. It's knowing that I don't have to know everything in order to feel confident. No one knows everything. Everyone's on a journey. And if I'm on a journey just like everyone else, well, of course I can relax into knowing that I'm enough in this moment. So, confidence to me is a lot of relaxing. It's a lot of letting go of striving and trying too hard and thinking I'm not enough and I could never do it. So, that's really something that's helped me a lot, is just recognizing, like, no one has this all figured out. Everyone's making it up. We do create our own reality. So why not be the center of it? Why not feel good in it? It doesn't matter how you grew up or where you live. It's really an internal choice of, like, oh, I can feel better right now. And I don't need to feel 100% prepared to jump into the unknown because I've never been there before. It's also about not expecting too much of yourself, right? It's okay to be nervous doing new things. It's okay to be nervous going outside of your comfort zone. It's okay to be nervous to relax, right? But it is something that you can do over and over again. Like, building any habit, it's going to take some time, but it really does come down to, do I feel good not being confident? Well, what if I gave it a try? What if I gave it a try to be more appreciative of who I am and to expect that I can feel relaxed and good in this world that I'm in?
I'm going to yawn because that would hit home. I recognize that it's a worldview thing. So, one of the things that I do to cultivate confidence on my team, so the people who I coach, the people I surround myself by, is to remind them that nobody's here by accident. And that, like, so basically I tell them, if you're here in this situation surrounded by these people, you bring inherent worth and value, that you have something to offer here that everyone else here needs. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Right. Recognizing, like, there is, and so this is a worldview thing. This is like, there is a divine order to everything. And we're always in the right place at the right time. So I don't know if you have that worldview, but I do. And so it's then helpful to remind myself of that. Like, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't something here for me. Because we live in an incredible, amazing universe where nothing is wasted. And if there wasn't something that I had to offer, this situation, this scenario, this whatever it is. So I was just telling my last client, like, that's really helped me in coaching to relax and to just show up and be like, all right, well, they're here with me because who knows why, we're about to find out, right? And same, and I'm here with them. Like, there is sort of like this divinity to this appointment, and so we can both relax and be ourselves and trust that amazing things will happen. So that is like my worldview thing that helps me relax into my own skin in any situation. It also helps me to trust myself and also experience has helped me to trust myself, but to trust myself when I get the nudge, right? When there's like something I want to say, but feel like, I don't know, am I going to be an asshole for saying that? Or I don't know if it's my place. Rachel I talk about the word appropriate all the time. I don't know if it's really appropriate for me to like do that right now. But the more that I have followed those, remembering like, well, I'm not here for no reason. And I feel the nudge, so I'm going to say that. Like, that gains me confidence. That even makes sense. That helps me to gain confidence. So yeah, that's taking it even bigger than just appreciating myself, which is amazing, by the way. If you don't have a self-appreciation practice, it's like so fun. It seems like a little, I want to say self-indulgent, as if that is a bad thing, but it's so good to like cultivate the things in yourself that you love. Like, even so for you, Guillaume, I love that I'm curious. I love that I'm creative. I love that I have a vivid imagination. I love that I could spend hours getting lost in writing a story. I love that I have just a voracious appetite for reading and growing and learning. Like, I love that about myself. Not just that, like, this is a quirky thing about me. Like, I love that about me. That's so awesome about me. All right, I'm rambling now, but that's what feels good.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, Carrie and I do this all the time where we've had something on our wish list for a while, we'll get it, and then we'll move on because we're a match to having it, which is why we've got it. So it doesn't feel earth shattering like we thought it would. And then we forget to celebrate, you know? Like, Guillaume, you've written like 10 plus books, I'm pretty sure. Most people want to write one and never get to it. So celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Like, even if you have to throw yourself your own little party, like put the streamers up, get a hat on, you know? Wow, what would this world look like if we celebrated ourselves for all the things that we did? You know, yesterday I made a dentist appointment and I took the entire day off because I felt so accomplished. So what else? What else? Jane is saying relax and trust, ease and flow, heart. Yeah.
Two things came up for me. One, I wrote down what you said. Confidence is a lot of relaxing and remembering. So one of the things, so there have been a few things that like people have said to me in my life that have like been earth shattering. One is, I don't know if it was you, Rachel, but somebody once said like, oh, all of us entrepreneurs, we're just making it up as we go along. I mean, I got so much confidence from just knowing like all these other people are just making it up as they go along too. And then realizing like if Rachel's making it up as she goes along, then, you know, Elon Musk is probably making it up as he goes along, right? Like recognizing, oh, this thing that I've been like beating myself up for is actually what everyone I admire is doing. So I can relax about that. And then the other thing is remembering that everything I think I need, I already have. So like being able to relax enough to whenever I have found myself desperate or giving my power away or being like actually the confident move right now is to reclaim my power, own where I am, take a deep breath, and remember like everything I need is available to me. So I think confidence is a lot about just like owning your own power. One of the things that I often do in meditations with clients is ask them to sit where they are and then see and feel the energy, all the places they've left their personal energy, like left little bits and pieces of their energetic selves out in the world, just bringing it back to themselves, realizing like, oh, I just need to feel a little bit energetically whole and integrated right now. Like even that can feel confident. But that idea that like, oh, everything I have, I already need. I have access to all of the answers. I have like, that is massive. That really helps with my confidence. And that is just a shift, right? That's just a decision. Oh, I was just talking to someone who was like, you don't need to buy that program. You don't need to like, you already have the answers. And, or guess what? You actually own another program that has all those answers. Like it's already there for you. So that was number one. The number two thing that I wrote down was receive. So we talked about celebrating, and it's amazing to celebrate. And also, I haven't always done a good job of just receiving compliments or like I have deflected. I have not let in the things that maybe would help my confidence. Other people saying things to me like, wow, Carrie, you're amazing at that. And me being like, nah, it was nothing. Oh no, I'm not really that good at it. Oh, that was a fluke. Right. So just being in a space of, and you guys, I don't know if you know, receive is my word for the year. But just like making a conscious effort to, when someone compliments me, say thank you. That can boost your confidence because you're not deflecting, you're letting it in. So these are like really small things. They can make a big difference.
They're big things. They do. They do make a big difference. And I want to address Heather's comment. It's interesting to notice when confidence is there and when it's not. I often feel most confident when I'm not thinking about myself. Yeah. Yeah, because confidence is a natural state. And one of the most profound things I've ever heard anyone say, David Wolf said this many, many, many years ago, was that we are self-contracting beings. So we're born wide open, connected, easy flow, integrated higher self babies, right? Everybody's taking care of us. We are receiving or we die. So we better be receiving. But then over time, we shrink up, right? And we get things through a little trickle. And that's just how the world works. Money doesn't grow on trees. You got to work really hard. Like we just absorb all that stuff like a sponge and we contract. And the cool thing is, we can forget for moments of time. When we meditate, all of that momentum stops. Often when we're in service, because we're not focused on ourselves, we're focused on someone else. We are a free flowing channel. We are integrated. We are open. We are confident. And in other cases, right, when we just aren't thinking about it, when we're relaxed, when we're doing something else. I think Abraham says this all the time, like, your cork floats automatically. It's you that's keeping you underneath the water, not receiving and not being confident. So yeah, you're a naturally confident being. It's not something that you need to create. It is something you need to allow. And that's a lot easier. Carrie and I were just talking about the difference between having to create something and just needing to allow something this morning. It's much easier to just allow it, knowing that it's already there, than thinking you have to, assemble a skyscraper on your own for it to be there. Now, yes, you can do things that help you allow it. Like what Carrie was saying before, those mindset shifts, and also visualization, pre-paving. This is really common in the sports world, and I don't know why it's not more common in other places, but like people see themselves winning the race. They imagine every step. Professional climbers go through every single move before they attempt the climb. Like, see yourself winning at life. See our friend that got published in the New York Times. She saw the whole process. She saw herself getting picked up by the editor. She saw it in the paper. Practice these things. That does help your confidence because you're lining up the energy. I have to do this all the time with silly little things that I'm afraid of doing, like taking the bus to the ski resort for the first time a couple of years ago. I had to just it's okay if I just get on the bus and I go up there, and it's okay if I just turn around, like lower the stakes and also up the pre-paving. All of these things can really help you, because then you're not just throwing yourself in there blindly. Of course, you're not going to feel confident doing it that way. You're probably not even going to feel confident after pre-paving, but you'll feel better. You'll feel more prepared. You'll feel like, I know what to do. I can handle it. And that's really important.
You're reminding me of the Brene Brown book. And actually, as I'm saying it, I'm recognizing I read it. I don't remember any of it except for the title, but is The Gifts of Imperfection. But when you talked about like lowering the stakes, right? It is like releasing the judgment. So like, right, you getting on the bus to go to the ski resort, like there probably was a story around, are you freaking kidding me? I'm a grown ass woman. I should be able to, right? Like there's a lot of like, why am I afraid of this? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I should be able to just like get on a bus and go to the ski resort. And
yeah, I've flown to Ireland by myself. Like, of course I can get on a bus in town. No.
Right. But like, guess what? We are beautifully and perfectly imperfect. And so by lowering your, like, for me, there just is a lot of achievement and perfectionism. And I know that that is in you as well. And probably a lot of you who are watching, right? And it is recognizing like we're all imperfect beings and it's okay to be where we are. And so by lowering the stakes, you had grace with yourself. You said, okay, Rachel, we're going to imagine you getting on this bus and we're going to make it okay. That if you get there and that was too big of that was a lot for you that day just to get there, that you can actually not even go skiing. You can just get right back on that bus and go home. And that's what that's what I'm talking about when I say experience, right? Like training yourself into knowing like, I can take that first step. I can do that uncomfortable thing. I can, right? Like that builds confidence the more you flex that muscle. But if you had set the standard of I have to do this and I have to do it perfectly and I have to like, sorry, my dogs are barking, be wearing just the right outfit and make sure that I make pleasant conversation with strangers. And when I get there that I have the best ski day ever. And right, like that, maybe you wouldn't feel so confident. You would have turned it into something more than it needed to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. Something came up when you were talking and now I don't remember it, which is perfect. But something I have right at the top of my list here is self-soothe. And that's a lot of what Carrie was just doing. Like, how can we feel more comfortable in any circumstance, whether we've done it right or wrong, right? How can we just have the ability to calm ourselves down? Actually, I remember what I was thinking about. I remember many years ago, everything was many years ago now that I'm 40, right? Um, I I haven't always felt socially awkward. Like when I was a kid, I was fine. I would talk to anybody. I don't know. In adulthood, I've realized maybe it's that I was and I just didn't realize it, but I realized it like I sometimes have a hard time picking up on social cues of like when a conversation is over, or I just generally don't want to talk about little tiny things that people want to talk about. I want to talk about things that excite people and what matters to them, which I think is a common thing for the people here too. But I would get anxious going into new social situations because I felt like it was going to be a hard time and that my fumbling around would embarrass me, basically, or who I was with. And then I started hearing people just claiming this idea of being socially awkward. Like, oh, yeah, I'm socially awkward. Ha ha ha. Like in a party. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful thing to do. Like, that's an amazing way to disarm this feeling of anxiety, to just be honest about it. And I don't know if I've ever said it out loud at a party, but I feel it now. Like, it's okay to be me. It's okay to be awkward. It's okay to have like weird transitions and say things people aren't usually saying. It's okay to reroute conversations. It's okay to say, oh, what do you mean when you say that? Or, oh, it was nice talking to you after they've been like waiting for me to leave. This happens with my neighbors sometimes. They're like, yeah, this is over now. Bye. They don't say that, but then, I pick up on it after waiting. So it's this idea again of accepting yourself and not comparing yourself and being okay with who you are. But it's like that extra level of, oh, yeah, like I can claim it and own it. This weird imperfection of mine, this can be a thing. Rachel's socially awkward, and that's what's cool about her.
So I think that the reason that so many people perceive me as confident is because one of the things that I guess I love it about myself, but one of the things about me is that I do that like I'll meet someone at a party and I'll ask them like, "Oh, what's your name? Rachel. Nice to meet you, Rachel. I'm Carrie, blah blah blah." And we exchange niceties and it's awkward. And then inevitably within the first like 3 minutes, I'll say, "I'm really sorry, I already forgot your name." And like I am saying it because I'm awkward. I am saying it because like legitimately I can't believe I did this, but I've already forgotten your name. But it is like disarming and people seem to find it charming and I come off as confident because I'm brave enough to say I totally wasn't paying attention. I asked you your name, I wasn't even listening. Right? As like there that is so other people have always thought I was confident because I was actually just have no filter. So it wasn't that I was confident at all, but now I'm confident in doing that. Um, but it was just, I just think that's funny that you're like, oh, I learned that you could do that. And I was like, gosh, I went my whole life thinking I was inappropriate for doing that. But I can't stop it. So I just claim it and then it makes it okay about me. And it actually usually leads to a great conversation, right? That's the whole point. When we claim things, it opens people up around us. And my example around that is actually my daughter recently had to do an interview and she was so nervous for the interview. She wanted to come off just right and she wanted to have just the right answers for all the questions and like come off as confident and authentic and relaxed, even though she was like nervous and scared and terrified and like felt like the stakes were really high. And I told her, just tell them you're nervous. She was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell them that I'm nervous. Like, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to have my stuff together. And I was like, statistically, when a speaker admits that they are nervous, it gets the audience invested in their success. When someone admits to you, you guys, this is really important to me and I'm super nervous, then automatically the people on the other side are like on your side. And she appreciated that advice from me and did not take it. But I did think it helped her for me to say, they know you're nervous. They expect you to be nervous. Like, that's fine that you're nervous. Just be yourself. But I think it brought her confidence just knowing, oh, it's okay to be in the state that I'm in. Right. So there we are with that.
Yeah, I heard that advice when I was studying screenwriting 2 years ago now, I think. One of the best teachers I've had during this whole time, he was talking about being in pitch meetings, and especially if you're a writer, if you tell the executives like that you're nervous, they calm down, they get closer, it's more of an intimate conversation. They understand because first of all, writers are notoriously shy and they don't like talking to people they don't know. But also, like marketers, like the other executives, that's their job, is to be confident, to have, good presentations. But writers, that's not necessarily the skill set you want in them. You would rather they be a better writer than a better presenter. So he's like, yeah, they will understand, they will relax with you. And it's just so true. And I think this points to the overall feeling of, you don't need to be anywhere that you're not at right now. Like wherever you are right now, with whatever skill set or capabilities you have right now, that's enough for right now. I remember always kind of feeling like with to Carrie's point about everybody's just making this up, especially in business, especially when you're on a new pathway. Like I'm not opening a pet store where I'm like stocking things and I have I know what to do to open a pet store. I'm creating a company in kind of a different way. And I have different kinds of offerings than a lot of other people. Similar, but not totally ripping everybody off, you know? Of course, I'm not going to know how to do that, you know? And that's okay. I've been doing this now in this way for 10 years now. And I'm just now feeling like, oh, I see my cohesive company. I see the levels, I see the progression, I see the revenue model. Like I see and feel and am confident now that I've created a company. I've always been a service provider. I've always been a great psychic. I've always been a great course creator, content creator. I've always felt confident in those things after getting practice and experience at them. But I never quite felt like I run a company and that is what I do, which might be a shock to some of you. I don't know. Until now, really. And that's okay. There's also that saying of um, it's like it takes 10 years to become an overnight success because there's a growth period, there's a practicing, there's an embodiment, there's a confidence growing and a figuring out of what you're even doing. Um, Amy Schumer talked about that a lot when she popped on the scene with her show on television. And she's like, yeah, guys, I've been touring for like 10 years. Nobody cared. And like all of a sudden now she's a household name. And I think that's just the way it goes because we find a groove within ourselves. We learn to realize it's okay for me to be exactly where I am. I don't need to be anywhere else. I appreciate what I've got so far. And then, boom, everything lands for you because you finally accepted, this moment right here, where you are and who you are. And so you don't ever have to feel like you need to be somewhere else. You need to know more. You need to be more successful. That will come when you finally step into the moment and be okay with that.
So I actually just got a message from a client, like basically saying that she was like, she was really wanting to step into this next level of success and shaming herself, like feeling bad that she wasn't there yet. Like a lot of story around, like, why is this so hard for me? I have everything that it takes. And her success story was even one that she was a little bit embarrassed about, like, which is so funny because it's like the success story that everyone wants. Like, but she felt like she hadn't earned it, like there was all of this. And then she just sent me a message saying, like, oh my God, I got it. I figured it out. I recognized that I had created the perfect business for where I was. It was perfect. Was I capable of more? Could I have done more? Like all of it, maybe, but it was exactly what I asked for. It was exactly what I wanted. It was perfect for that stage in my life. And if it had been anything more, I wouldn't have loved it. And so it's been amazing. And now I'm ready for the next level. And like like practically instantly, right? It was like getting to the energetic place of appreciating where she was, accepting where she had been, acknowledging like was it everything like I thought I should have been? No. Was it perfect and exactly what I wanted and just where I was, like Rachel just getting on the bus and getting there and then going home? That was it for her, and it served her well, and it is still serving her well. And it was just like she got such appreciation for this thing that she'd been judging herself for. And then boom, right? Next level, like suddenly the steps in front of her that seemed cloudy or uncertain or why is this so hard for me to do became easy. Became like, oh, like, I don't know. I'm sure you've had these moments. I've had these moments where like, I'm sure you guys have experienced me having these moments live with Rachel where the thing that like, you need to do for years, or like the thing, like suddenly it's like, well, that was easy. Why did I make like, and that is, so this goes to her confidence, right? Is like, there was all sorts of self-judgment and shame for where she was. But when she just accepted where she was and actually appreciated herself in it, boom. So there we go. Confidence is, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that when we admire confidence in other people, what we are admiring is not an act. We're not admiring that they're putting on a display of having their shit together. In fact, when I see that, I see it as insecurity. I don't see it as confidence. When I see like, this is going to go to like, I'll just come back to that thought in 1 second. But what confidence really is when you see someone who's comfortable in their own skin. So like something that I like really think matters I wish this wasn't live as I'm saying it, because you guys are going to watch me process and like fumble, but here we are. Because I want to say that like I find this quality attractive or unattractive in men as a happily married woman. So I want you guys all to be clear on that. But like, I do think that a confident man or woman, but I'm going to just talk about men for a second, has nothing to prove. Like there's no like any sort of striving or proving or I'm better than energy, right? Like what I see as confidence is actually like they're so comfortable in their own skin that they're happy to like lift other people up and affirm other people and say like, well, that's good for you. So I feel like with confidence comes a lack of competition. And maybe that's why I'm equating it to men, is because men seem to be like outwardly competitive. So there we go with that. And this is speaking as someone who like coaches people in competitive sports.
Yes. And, you know, I think let's just talk for a second about sometimes people fear confidence because they think it will be perceived as arrogance. And arrogance is really insecurity with a megaphone, right? Like arrogance is really different than confidence. Confidence it's quiet and it's bold, right? But arrogance is shallow and like megaphony. Like I've been watching the documentary shows like the on WeWork and Theranos recently. They're both on the same time. And those two leaders of, billion-dollar companies were like fake it till you make it people. And a lot of people think that's how you get confidence. Fake it till you make it. But for me, it is all about inner appreciation that grows your confidence. Faking it till you make it can land you in a fraud charge or, cost, I don't know. Adam Newman is an interesting case, the founder of WeWork, because he's still got to be a billionaire, but which manifestation can happen, but I don't think it's the life that he wanted to live as a billionaire. But who knows? Anyway, I think if you are worried that you're going to become too confident, too big for your britches, if you're worried about being like slapped down by the people in your life, that is none of your concern. How other people treat you, think of you, what you think they might think of you, that doesn't belong to you. All you can do ever, whether you feel confident or not, is to focus on yourself. And honestly, the more inner appreciation work you do, the less you're going to care about what other people think. I think a lot of people view me as being very self-expressed, very confident, very open with who I am, which is true. But mostly because being me feels so much better than not being me, because I live a very inward life. There's still things that I worry about. There's still things like, that are, I guess, affecting my outward life in some way, like unconsciously. I'm sure I've got a lot of those things. But for the most part, I need to follow that inner cue. I need to do it. I need to put the crazy makeup and the wig on and be intimidating. I can't not do that because I've built up the strength to go within and to know like, wow, that's going to feel incredible when I do that. And that's more important to me than worrying about Uncle Sam thinking I'm a weirdo. So it's just about practice and and stepping away from the idea that other people have any say in what you do with your life, because they don't.
So this is like a story time thing. But so when we were newly married, my husband had trouble with my confidence. So, which I find so interesting to say now, but like I remember the things that he used to say to me. And part of it was because I am 100% me wherever I go. And he was less that. There was, have you seen the Friends episode with Work Chandler? Okay, where he has his like work laugh and his work. So Jim was a little bit like that. Like he was one person. I mean, he was always himself, but he had like a work persona, and and probably this was like a manifestation of my own worries about appropriateness, right? So it would show up, and he'd be like, "All right, we're going to my work thing." And I want like basically he didn't say these words, but his implication was like, "You get to be arm candy." Now it never worked out that way. I mean, maybe I looked amazing. Obviously, I looked amazing. But it wasn't just that I was arm candy, but he would like prep me, like, talk about this, don't talk about this, make sure you like, it was like very like, what, I can't just go and hang out and be myself. I need to go and remember like what topics to talk about and not talk about. It was like this thing. And it really kind of shook my confidence, right? Because what I recognize, right, is he was just doing him. He was doing like, okay, I'm work Jim right now. This is what work Jim does. This is how, but he was trying to like project that onto me, and it didn't work ever. It never ever worked. Even to a fault, in that what would always wind up happening is that, or what he quickly learned was that he could take me into any situation and I could make everyone my friend. I could enroll everybody onto Team Jim and Carrie. Now, how I did that, I don't really know. I just knew I couldn't play by the rules. I couldn't like fit into the narrow arm candy box. Like these are the safe topics and these are. So I guess what I wound up doing was maybe asking a lot of questions, asking other people about themselves, like being genuinely interested, but also even if I was faking interest, it probably would have worked. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, except for that it totally backfired. And now he brings me to things because of that, because he's like, all right. I mean, I suppose if he said, hey, will you come come with me to this work thing because I need you to be charming, I would be like, be charming yourself. Like you do it. But instead he's like, oh, I really want you to come with me to this work thing. And I know I have confidence in like, oh, because he wants everybody on Team Jim and Carrie. Got it. Like, because my being there somehow makes him look good. So what I'm getting at is he went from don't make me look bad. That was his fear. Like a worry of like, you're going to make me look bad. And then because I just showed up in the only way I know how to show up, in my authenticness, in knowing like, I'm just going to have to be enough. Like whoever I am is going to have to be good enough because I don't know how to be anyone else. Now it's like completely the other way around. Why did I tell that story? I mean, I feel really good telling it, so thanks, but I don't know where it came from. Oh, you're muted.
The futility of caring about what other people are going to think of you. Like your husband was worried about what people were going to think of him based on you, but we can't know. We cannot know what other people are going to think. I am always shocked. Like just when I was in middle school, I'm always shocked when like these amazing, like cultured, highly educated people are like, yeah, go into an alien. Why am I shocked? There's no reason for me to be shocked. Intimate Alien is a ball of love and joy, and everyone loves her. And like, it's just in our heads. It is just in our heads. If we design the world that we want to live in, and this is where we come back to every single time, you are the creator of your experience, of your life, mainly of your circumstances. If you want any of that to change, you have to change in here first. You have to change in here, or that will not change. And same thing with this. Like, if we want to be locked in this world based on our limiting beliefs, then keep living how you're living, right? But if you want to open up that world, if you want to like take the bars off the window, off the door, then we've got to change in here. We need to appreciate ourselves more, love ourselves more, be okay with where we're at, live in the moment, respond with our highest excitement, even if that's just contentment over despair. And those are the things that really matter and that make a difference and help you feel more confident. How do you feel more confident? Try things. Try things and see how they go and see how you like it and how you don't like it, and get to know yourself more and value that. Value your uniqueness. So we're almost done. I just want to say, Carrie and I are available in more ways than just this. And if you like what we talk about, maybe you want to consider joining us in a bigger capacity. We do private coaching with people together and separately. We have a group coaching program that's full of amazing people creating amazing lives. And it's just so inspirational, even just to listen to them. We have a lot of people in that group, by the way, who are not group people. I am not a group person myself, nor is Carrie, except if she's leading it. So you're welcome to join us there. Just go to intuitiveart.com and you'll find the membership group, you'll find the courses, you'll find our certification. Help people become more confident through intuitive art. That's what being certified is all about, is you going through that process of knowing that you can answer any question you have ever, and then doing that for other people. It's really empowering. So we have more to offer. If you want to ask me about it, like, Rachel, where do I fit in with you guys right now? Just reply to the email I sent, any email at all, and I'll get back to you.
Reply to the email with the wrong subject line.
Yeah, any one of them.
This was so good. And yeah, thank you for mentioning like all the ways we work with people, because sometimes we get on these conversations and we get so caught up, and like, at least I get so caught up. But like, I just want to say, I can confidently say, right, that working with us is powerful, life-changing shit. Like, and that feels really good to know and to own. And I know investing in yourself can sometimes be a like just an act of worthiness or confidence. And so I just want to like, I don't know, extend all kinds of love to you if you're that person being like, I've been waiting for the invitation, right? I've been waiting, like, oh, they're inviting me? Like, yes, you're invited. And it is amazing, life-changing shit. And you are so worth the investment in yourself.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. And you're welcome, Guillaume. I'm really glad this was a powerful topic. And you too, Jane. Yeah, self-appreciation. It is where it's at. Life will only go up. So that's it. We're wrapping up. We love you guys. If you have topic suggestions, let us know. And we'll see you next week. Bye.